We're live.
We're live. Hi, everybody. I don't know if we have anybody joining already. And I have my laptop right here so I can
okay.
see people
Hello,
commenting.
laptop.
You can't see it in the angle, but I have it right there.
No.
So thanks to everybody who comes to this live stream. We are talking about our plans and our everything we have in the works for the Walt Disney World Marathon.
What we know so far.
What we know so far, and Heather's actually doing something different to what I am doing. So we are going to talk about that, our plans, and kind of how we're going to be training. And she just ran the Little Rock Marathon, and I just ran the New York City Marathon. So we kind of just have to keep the biscuits warm.
Yeah, I got to stay in maintenance.
Have you gone back to running already, or are you still just taking it easier?
I spent about a week just doing like brisk walks to give my legs a chance to recover because my quads were so sore and like my right hamstring was just killing me. And so just a week of walking. So I was still getting miles in and getting my legs moving and everything was really helpful. And then at the beginning of this week, run 1 mile and then the next day run 2 miles. And so I've built out, I was going to try and get a 10K today and just kind of so much to do this morning. I ran out of time. So I got 5.5 miles, which is close enough. So
yeah, I was going to say this morning I tried to get in 6 miles and I only got in 4. So yeah, I was short as well.
And so this week I'll start adding back some of the drills that I normally do during training. So that's usually on Tuesday, I'll throw in like a tempo run, progressive run, or something like that for at least 10K. And then on Thursdays, I alternate between doing hills and doing speed workouts. So,
wow,
which is interesting.
I was going to say, yeah. So you're going to go. What's your plan for the marathon? What would you like to achieve?
Honestly, just to finish, because if I finish, I do better than I did with the same marathon 6 years ago. So,
yeah. But do you have something in mind in terms of like a time that you would like to finish by, or?
Oh, I finished Little Rock Marathon in just under 5.5 hours, which was like way better than I could have hoped for because I was thinking I'm sure I'm going to hit probably 6 hours. And with Disney, they've got that very strict time limit. You have to maintain at least a 16-minute mile. And I think like 6 hours is like, that's it. That's the cutoff. So if they see that you are lagging behind and you are not going to finish before 6 hours, they will say, okay, you're done running, and, you load onto the bus and you go. So, as long as I don't pass out around mile 20, which is what happened to me last time, then I'm already doing better than I ever did at the Walt Disney World Marathon. So that's, if I could get anywhere close to 5.5 hours again, then that'd be great. And I'm interested to see how this goes because I've run, ever since that marathon, I've run a bunch of half marathons at Disney. And so I'm, at least somewhat familiar with most of the course. But then they add a whole bunch in the middle in order to make it 26 miles. And, having just come from Little Rock, which, had that whole uphill section for about 3 miles, I know they don't have that at Disney. You're not going to run into hills like you would here. But there are a couple of sections where you have to go up an overpass or something. So, you do have to be prepared for that. But the rest of it's going to be, from what I remember, relatively flat. And there's a couple of times where, the exciting part with Disney is that you get to run through the parks.
That was going to be my question. Obviously, I've never done it. I checked, and they haven't published a map of the actual course. So hopefully that comes soon because we're only 5 weeks away. But
yeah, because you start with Magic Kingdom is the first one, at every single race. Well, I mean, you start at Epcot, but it's like way out, like a mile away from the park in a backstage, like parking area. Um, and so the first actual park that you go through will be Magic Kingdom, and you kind of curve around. You go through the part where you drive in to park, and you go through the parking lot, and then it takes you out around the park in kind of the backstage area, and you go through Tomorrowland, and from there come back out, and then through the front part, so that you run down Main Street. And
Oh,
and then from Main Street, you go up around through um, around the side of the castle, so that you enter the castle through the back,
right.
and then come down and around, and you have an opportunity at the front of the castle to stop and have your picture taken. And so it's like, if you're doing great on time, if you're not worried about your time, there's usually a bit of a line to have your picture taken. So, the photographers they have at Disney are really professional, and I mean, they know how to snap, get a good shot, and move you through. And so, if you want your picture in front of the castle, you do have that opportunity there. So,
Now,
but that's the big one.
do you have to pay for the pictures extra, or when you do your,
Um,
because when I got my tickets for the parks, you can pay for the Disney, whatchamacallit, the
the
photo
photo
pass.
pass, yeah,
Yeah.
that's all on your photo pass. And
So you do have to pay when you get, or is there a separate way to get it?
um, let's see. I
Do
believe
you know? I mean,
from what I remember, photo pass is like, because that's the only way that Disney has in order to get photos out to you. Um, they do allow you to, just like any marathon, they do allow you to see your photo through the Disney app.
okay.
And then from there you can purchase individually, or usually what I do is I pay for the rights to all the digital downloads, and that way I can put them online, or I can print them out the way that I need to, but they give you the opportunity to do that as well.
Right. My, it's I've seen pictures, from, friends of mine who've run Disney, and they have
Mhm.
beautiful snaps. But my problem is that I have yet to see a picture taken of me running where I look even remotely like when I ran New York City Marathon. I went to Marathon Photo, which was it's the organization that was taking pictures.
Right.
I think I walked in the whole marathon. I probably walked combined 300 feet. The rest I ran faster or slower, but I ran. So there's 20 pictures of me in Marathon Photo on the side. Out of the 20,
Right.
probably 14 or 15 are of me walking. So they were basically the portion when I was really struggling, because I'm obviously walking. So yeah,
Right.
I've never had good luck with pictures. I was hesitant to,
Um,
get any package because of that.
I have learned a little trick to getting really good photos through the Disney photographers. Is you're able to see, because they normally have this little yellow tint thing that they sit in order to kind of protect them from the elements, and then they sit in there with the camera and get pictures as you go by. So you can see the little thing ahead of you where the photographer is. You're able to kind of get a good visual on that. If you either get ahead or kind of pull back so that there's a pocket of space between you and the nearest runner, they can get a clearer picture of you. And so as long as you allow a little space between yourself and the next person ahead of you, then, you can stop and pose, you can wave, you can do whatever, but you have time to kind of react so that you get a good picture from the Disney photographers.
Okay, very cool. That's nice, because again, this is my first Run Disney event, so this is all super helpful because I don't know anything. So thank you for that. But in my experience, you never really know where they are unless they are like super. Like some races have a sign that says "Smile for the camera," and you know that they are
Mm-hmm.
taking video or picture. But
That was also something they had at the Little Rock Marathon, was they had signs by the side of the road that said "photographer ahead." So
oh,
you
that's
knew ahead of
awesome.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, because you kind of have to be like looking for them. If you don't see them,
Oh
you
yeah.
can't really like. You might just run quickly by them, and they're not even able to take a picture if you're too close to someone else. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And there were
Beverly, we have
times where
questions.
I saw that there was going to be a photographer ahead, but I wasn't sure at what point they were going to start taking pictures because they had like the huge lens on there.
Those, yeah.
And so there were times where I was like, oh, photographer ahead. Okay, I'm going to stop and take a drink. And so they had pictures of me just walking and taking a drink of water. And I was like, okay, not one of my favorites, but very realistic. That was my marathon experience.
Yeah, even when I ran my first one, which was Marine Corps, they take pictures of you with the Capitol building in the back.
Mm-hmm.
And in that portion, you're still kind of doing good because I think it's like mile 17. So it's not really like hard, like things are getting hard at that point. But so that you have the backsplash of the Capitol building, which is like, iconic.
Yeah.
They had there maybe, I want to say 6 or 7 photographers on both sides. So I kept doing this and doing like, and like, because I wanted a picture. No one take a picture of me.
Wow.
So I felt like maybe they didn't want me to, like maybe I overdid it. And, like maybe I overdid it and I was moving or something and they were not clear pictures.
So where are we staying?
Yes. Do you want to go first?
Sure. It's funny story is every one of my siblings, we've all worked for Disney. And my younger 2 siblings are the ones that decided to go career with it. And so they have they have places there in the Orlando area. So I just stay with them, which is great. I don't have to pay for a hotel. So.
Right, which everything adds up. So how long are you staying? Are you staying the whole, like for the full 4 days or?
It's mostly just for the weekend because I'll have my kids with me and my older kid. I don't want him missing too much school because they start school earlier in that week. So this way he only misses a couple of days of school.
Right. So I am actually arriving Friday, but I am arriving like kind of Friday's a lost day because I have to arrive and I have to get my bib. So it's lost. And because of I don't know how long of a flight you have from Arkansas. I have a 3 hour.
We get to drive. Yay.
Oh, you're driving.
Yeah.
You're brave. We drove actually in the summer when we went to Disney. We drove, which is 17 hours from where I am.
It's only about 11 or so hours from here.
It's still, it's still, it's a hike.
And with a let's see, by next month there'll be 9 and 5. So so you do have to stop every once in a while, but
right. Yeah. So Friday is lost for me. And then we are staying at Bonnet Creek, actually. So at the Hilton.
Okay.
So I'm staying over with a friend. So this whole came about, it's the same friend for those of you who have watched. Actually, it's interesting. For those of you who ever listened to my podcast, she's the one I interviewed who did Machu Picchu and Kilimanjaro.
Oh, okay.
So she's the one that, told her story of how, she climbed both. She's a marathoner. She has run, I think, 120 marathons or something. Yeah. So she has run everywhere, everything. But she does Dopey every year, pretty much. Oh. So yeah, I'm staying over with her. I stayed over with her in New York City when I ran New York City Marathon. So
I always have people ask if I'm ever going to do the Dopey, and I'm just like, I don't have the money or the will to do that much.
I was thinking maybe when my son is in college, maybe because I just don't feel. I feel a little guilty taking vacation if I'm not with my family.
Yeah,
taking too many days because yes, you need the time to be for you, as a person, individual person, separate from your family. But I am always like, I don't have so much time that I can just take unlimited days and just travel. Yeah. So I don't want to take the bulk of the time that I have. I want to spend it with my husband and my son. So, but maybe once he's in college, maybe that will be another opportunity. I'm just waiting for my husband to turn into a runner. That's the next step. So Beverly's asking if we're going to meet at the expo. When are you picking up your bib?
Oh, most likely Friday, I think. Friday or Saturday.
Okay. So I'm going to be there Friday. So there would be, it's possible we overlap. And if that's the case, we should text and see if we can meet.
Yeah, totally.
Yep. So
yeah, expo, that's a whole other thing too.
I am going to devote my whole afternoon there. Yeah, just to
Oh
check
yeah,
out.
because I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's all in several buildings.
Oh,
And
wow.
yeah, I believe this time they are encouraging you to print out the waiver and bring it with you, because typically what they do is they have a big line that you stand in to print out the waiver and sign it, because you have to turn that in order to get your bib. And I think what they're doing now, just from what I've heard, is they want you to print that out. They'll have it available ahead of time so you can print it out and bring it with you, because they're trying to avoid some of those longer lines. And they send you to one
Right.
building to pick up your bib, and they have different sections for, if you're running the dopey, you go to this line. If you're doing the marathon, you go to this line. If you're doing the goofy, you go to this line. So they have different sections that are all divided out. You get your bib, you find out what corral you're going to be in, and then they'll have another building that's the official Run Disney merchandise. And so that's always kind of crazy, because you see people just like absolutely grabbing handfuls of stuff. So if you want like the I did it, or if you want like the marathon bumper sticker magnet type thing, get that before the race. Like if you wait too late in the week, everything is gone. And
Okay,
if you,
so
yeah.
so I'm arriving Friday. It's probably by the time I get there, everything's gonna be gone probably. I wanted a
Well,
pin. That was my like. I really want a pin.
you may be able to order a pin early. So definitely check the website for that.
Okay.
Usually it's like the limited edition stuff will totally be gone within the first day. But the other stuff, like just the marathon shirt, because you get a shirt just for each race that you run. So you'll also get that. But then if you want like an additional marathon shirt, then you have the chance to buy that there. And then they have another building, and that's the rest of the expo, and that's all the vendors, and it's huge. I mean, it is really huge. And I've gotten a bunch of free samples from there. I've bought shoes at the last second there and been like, oh, these are nice, I'll get these. So yeah, the expo's pretty huge. And usually if I remember right, the expo is also where you can pick up your shirt. So it's like you get your
Okay.
bib in one area, and then you show them the bib at the shirt area, and you pick up your shirt.
Okay. Very cool. So we have a lot of messages. So Tristan said, "Hello, ladies.
Hello.
Hi." Beverly saying she's never done dopey. She's
Yeah, I
actually
just
asking, like asking that we get a lot of money. We spend a lot of money at the
oh,
expo.
it's like it's anything with Disney. You're gonna pay for it, but it's good quality stuff. There were some complaints a couple of years ago, just because Disney used to partner with Champion to do all of their marathon shirts, and they stopped doing that a couple of years back and decided that they were going to do everything in house. And the tech materials that they picked for the shirts the first year were not really great. I mean, I didn't have too much of a problem with it. They weren't as soft as a normal tech shirt, but they've worked on it, and so the shirts have gotten better.
Nice, nice. That's good. I always say that I would rather even pay a little extra, but get a better,
Hmm.
a better
Definitely.
tech t-shirt because you want it to last. Yeah. When I
Yeah.
ran Marine Corps Marathon, and this is just I washed the t-shirt the first day and it just
Mhm.
like the first after wearing it and it just the letters start coming off.
Oh.
So yeah, and I don't know if that was just, that my t-shirt was defective or it was all the t-shirts. I never went online and actually, read comments from people to see if that was the case. It's probably that it was just mine, that the machine did not press it the right way. So
Right.
Kim is saying hi. Hi,
Hi, and Ben is
Kim.
here. Hi, Ben.
Yes, Ben is there. Hi, Ben. And then Beverly's saying, check out the latest shoes. So I'm always hesitant because when I buy shoes, I know kind of like I have watched either reviews online. So
Hmm.
I could see myself getting something if they have a good price, but I could also see myself like Googling, like, okay, what are the reviews for
Yeah.
these shoes? And because I'm always hesitant to buy shoes without knowing. Just trying them on, it's not enough for me. I have to try them
You
on
got to
and
go
then see
run.
what other people, what other people are saying about them. So I am always here for you
Oh.
guys. That's so sweet. Ben.
Except when we do the master stream at midnight. Yeah.
Right, because it's not, yeah, the UK, time in the UK is just too late. Yeah. Um,
So how many
how many
people are
people are
running?
running?
Good
I'm
question.
gonna say it's one of the largest marathons in America. So I'm gonna guess at least 30,000. If I had
Yeah.
to guess, but I could be wrong.
Usually the 5K is like mega huge because there's no time limit on that one. And so pretty much anybody can do the 5K. So
Right.
they usually have a ton of people there. And then they kind of start narrowing the field from there, kind of putting more of a cap on it. So they didn't used to sell out of Marathon and Dopey, but past, I guess, 5 or so years or so, something like that, they've had a lot more interest in that.
Right. And that I think that's also kind of easy to, skew the numbers because you can
Hmm.
move. Yeah. When you're doing dopey, you can always pre-package, I don't know, 10,000 dopey and then move them and say that you sold
Right.
out of them. So, yeah. So Ben is very jealous. I just can't wait. Yeah. So let's talk about like the route that he does.
Yeah.
So do you go through all four parks? Like,
For the marathon, yes, you go through all four parks. And let's see if I don't know how much of Wild World of Sports you go through because we used to run through there as well. But they've had to change the route over the past couple of years, especially with all the construction that's going on around Epcot. Uh, so I know the last time I was there, which would have been Princess 2020, um, they normally you would run through the front part of Future World and then out to the finish line. And they kind of diverted us backstage and around instead because there was so much construction that there was no way for that many people to get through. But I think they have some of the front portion of Epcot open now. So it looks like they may have us finishing going past Spaceship Earth.
oh,
So
nice.
so that'll be nice. Also, from what I saw from Heather Jurgensen's channel, she said that for Wine and Dine, they did something a little different for the finishers shoot because it used to be like you came right out and that was the official Disney photo section there where you have the backdrop that said I did it and you don't get to hold up signs. And then you go to gear check and she says that they've flipped that now. So you go to gear check and now after gear check is where you can do your photos, which is good for the people who are doing challenge medals like the goofy and the dopey, because then they can get all their medals and not
And
have
then
to
you take the
backtrack.
picture.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't,
So
in COVID times, if nothing else, for races, what it's meant is that race directors have figured out a way of making things happen more efficiently and just keep
mhm.
people moving out of the area. Like for New York City Marathon, for example, this year, the way you got out of Central Park was much faster than it
Hmm.
used to be. And it's because they figured out a way to make it happen because they didn't want people concentrating, getting their bag, the medal, the bag, the ponchos that they
Yeah.
give you and everything. They just wanted people out of the park and moving out into the city. So that's the good thing with COVID is that I think things are, races are more effective.
Right.
Yeah, they kind of got creative with certain things. Beverly saying the backstage areas are cool.
Yeah, it's if you typically have just been to Disney as a guest and you've never like done any backstage tours or anything like
I
that,
haven't.
then you do get to see some areas that you would not normally see, which is interesting. You kind of see uh, how they organize like warehouse buildings and cast parking and passages from one place to another that kind of help the park run efficiently that you would never see. And they also make a big deal of putting characters out on the course, but they try not to do your typical Disney characters. They'll do the ones that you don't see that often in the park. And if they do have your regular Disney characters like, Goofy, Donald, Mickey, they make sure that they're in an outfit that you would not normally see them in. I remember running past Shades of Green, the Disney Golf Resort, and they had Goofy in his golfing outfit, which you typically don't really get to see
Right.
unless there's some sort of golfing promo going on or something like that. So that way you can get a picture that not everybody's going to have with that style of goofy. And they had a lot of streetmosphere performers from the studios that were, talking to people. They had them mic'd up and they would talk to people as they ran past them. Because I remember at one point they were like, "I'm going to make margaritas. Does anybody want one?" And like everybody running past had their hand up. They're like, "One, okay, I'm going to need a bigger pitcher." So, you know, so they just
That's
kind
too
of talk
funny.
to people. There are a few times, so you do get to see backstage, and what's really nice is in most of the backstage areas, they will have cast members that are back there cheering for you. I remember running through backstage in order to get into Animal Kingdom, and they had some of the cast members there that were like holding birds that they typically use in like the shows and stuff there. And so, they have, or like somebody will be holding an animal or something, and they're all cheering for you as you come through. And that was really cool.
That is
Uh,
so cool.
there are
Can
some
you?
places though that it's not backstage and it's not in a park, and you just kind of like, you kind of go out into the middle of nowhere. It's like you're just kind of going out on a highway and there's nothing to see. And so sometimes there are charities that will have something out there. At the last Princess that I went to, they had signs out there with jokes. Like they'd have the riddle and then the answer on the next sign. And so they at least gave you something to look at as you were going through.
Right. Yeah. So Tristan and I were running the marathon together.
Mhm.
Anna says that if Anna's her daughter, her older daughter, that if Colonial Mickey and Minnie are out somewhere, we must stop. Really jealous though. I have a picture. I don't know that exactly it's Colonial Mickey and Minnie, but in Animal Kingdom, when my son was much, he was a teeny weeny thing, I waited online. He went with my husband somewhere. They did it right, and I just waited on the line for.
Mhm.
And they were dressed with like the colonial thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it might be a different costume. But I have a picture, and they were so cool. Also because my dress sort of matched them. Completely serendipitous. It was not on purpose. I didn't know, but in that picture, it was so neat. Yeah, so they are good. Those costumes are cool.
And since each race has a different mascot, like for the marathon, it's Mickey and Minnie, then they will have Mickey and Minnie at the start line and they send off each section of the corrals. And
Very
then,
nice.
and as each corral crosses the starting line, they shoot off fireworks.
I am so like beyond like I can't wrap my head around it. Like I'm excited already, which I said after running New York City, I said I'm never gonna get this excited about anything. But no, here I am. You know? So
Which is
another
like
question.
just a
So
couple of weeks ago, I was saying, I will never run another marathon. This was the worst idea I've ever had in my entire life. And now here I am going, okay, so in January.
yeah. My husband was like, "Are you sure you want to do it?" Like, but are you sure you really want to do this? I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I'm like, oh yeah,
It's like, you're
I'm
going to
in.
purposely put yourself in pain for that long.
And he was like,
Okay,
you
go
were
ahead.
complaining, like, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna run walk it. This is completely different.
Yeah.
But in my mind, it was like, it's really not. I mean, it is. It's
It's
not the
still
same thing,
26.2
but it is
miles.
still 26.2. Yes, I mean, yeah. I mean, a marathon is a marathon, no
Yeah.
matter how
And
fast or how slow.
you just have to accept, you know what, it's going to suck at some point and you just have to move on. You just have
Right.
to know that's going to happen.
So I have a question that I wanted to ask you. Is there the possibility of stopping and doing any of the rides, like as
There
you're
are
running?
there are quite a few people that will try and get enough of a buffer so that when you run through Animal Kingdom, you run right past Expedition Everest. And so you can jump into the single rider line. If they see that you have your bib on, then they'll try and rush you through, but you'll have just enough time to ride the ride, get off, and rejoin the race.
Right.
So if you give
So
yourself
see,
enough of a buffer, you can do that.
I don't think I want to do Expedition Everest. Okay, so here, this is a really good question. Do you have costumes planned?
Sort of, maybe. I
I
do
have
know
two
that I want to
options.
run in costume. So,
Oh yeah, I'm definitely doing a costume. I have two options, so I have to think about it. My heart leans towards one, I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. I might change my mind. So
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards a Minnie Mouse outfit.
that would be so cool. Yeah, with like the sparkly. I don't know.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have I have two in mind. So it's a fun start. Beverly says early morning
Hmm.
group warm up with music is great. Lots of people doing it.
Yeah, when you first come into the athletes' village, first of all, they check you through security. If you have a bag, they got to look through everything in your bag. They got to make sure that you're wearing your bib. You have to have it on, and you can't get into the athletes' village unless you're showing your bib. And they put you in this big parking lot area. There are so many porta potties. There's so many. And then they have a great big stage with a DJ and just big open areas, places where you can get coffee, you can get breakfast if you need to. And they'll lead warm ups, they'll do exercises, they'll do little dance parties. They're trying to keep people a little more entertained in that area this year because, from what I understand, you're going to be in that area until they call for your specific starting corral. It used to be like they would just say, okay, everybody head to the corrals. And then, like, 10,000 people all move to the corrals at the same time, I think if I remember right, it was almost like a mile walk from
Oh
there to
wow.
the corrals. Um, but I think they're trying to do that so that you're not standing in crowded corrals for so long. So now they'll say, if you are in start group 1, corral A, B, or C, please go to the corrals. And so they'll start sending people that way.
Now,
That's from what I've heard. So
does anybody know, and this is a question for you, Heather, and maybe someone who's watching knows this. Can you fall back? Like if you have a number and you want to run with someone who's behind,
yes,
can you
you
wait for
can
them and
you
just go with
can
them into the corral?
yeah, you can go backwards as many corrals as you need to, but if just based on your bib, you cannot move forward to an earlier corral. You can move back as much as you want. You just can't move up.
Okay. And is that by number? Like, is that how they know? Are numbers
Um,
correlative or no?
it's not by the number. It's just by your corral letter.
Okay. Okay. Because New York City Marathon, the rule of thumb is that you can always go back.
Hmm.
You have to enter behind your number. Like if you have 50,000, you can be with the 16,000s,
Right.
but the 16,000s cannot be with the 15,000s.
Right. Yeah.
So
So
it's by
yeah,
number.
same thing. You can move back. You just can't move up. So if
Right.
you're in corral H, you cannot move up to corral D, but you can move to corral I through N if you need to.
I don't even know how where they're gonna, like, when do they send the corral, like the numbers and how do they
Um,
send that?
a lot of times, what they've done before is they'll send you a reminder email that your race is coming up, and there'll be a way for you to log into your account and check your bib number. Um, but beyond that, it'll just be your corral will be on your bib when you pick it up.
Okay. Cool. Let's see what other comments we have here. Lori, hi.
Hi, Lori.
She's saying, great job describing all the experiences through the Disney Marathon. So that's for you because I don't have any experiences. I've heard this story so many times and never knew about the fireworks.
And on top of that, they play a different Disney song as each corral starts. And so, you may be crossing the starting line to Once Upon a Dream, or they'll play a Spoonful of Sugar, or they'll have some kind of cute Disney song that'll be playing as you're starting.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tristan is saying Everest is closed during the race this year. That would
Aw.
make sense because they don't
Yeah.
want people,
Right. They used to also have some of the bathrooms available because, like, sometimes it's a long stretch between porta potties, and they would have the bathrooms in the parks available. And they've been putting cast members in like a line in front of the bathrooms to kind of shut that down, which I totally understand. I mean, because that's extra cleaning on their part and extra chance for spreading germs. So I totally
right?
get that, but there is one stretch every single time I have run a half marathon at Disney. There is this stretch right by it's after you go through the parking lot at Magic Kingdom, and you're like curving around so that you can get to the backstage portion of the park. And there's like a little kind of a wooded area, just a little area with trees. every single time I will see guys pull off to go pee over there because it's such a long wait until you get to the next bathroom.
It's easy for
Every
guys,
race. Yeah, because they
Yeah.
can go anywhere.
Yeah. Lori said she never knew about it. I actually saw it in a video. I never knew till I watched a vlog of someone running. I can't even remember who it was, but he actually rode it was a guy, he rode Everest. Yeah, so it was like, that's kind of neat. It's kind of cool. I've worn costumes, but I ended taking it off. It was too hot. So hopefully we can keep, that's another thing, is like when you're planning on your costume, you almost have to have a way of customizing the costume in case 3 days before it's going to be colder or rainy or something, so that you're not, because when you're in a costume, if it's rainy, you have to like kind of cover yourself. So it's
and I've run at Disney where it was so warm that they had to like cut the course before. Right. And then I've also been like the next year where it's so cold that people were dropping from hypothermia in the corrals. So you never really know what you're going to get. So you kind of have to prepare for it. Could be hot. It could be freezing. So kind of plan for both.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
What's your favorite Disney song? Oh, this is a hard one.
You might as well
I wasn't prepared for that.
Might as well ask me which one is my favorite kid.
I think, though, it's possible it's a spoonful of sugar. I mean, that's like Mary Poppins was, and Mary Poppins was my idol when I was growing up. I didn't want to be Cinderella. I wanted to be Mary Poppins because it was like, she's independent. She makes her own money. She goes anywhere she wants. She has magic. She's magical, has a super huge bag, and she can fit everything in the bag. I mean, she was so cool. There was nothing better than...
I love the song Almost There from Princess and the Frog because Tiana is one of my favorite princesses. So Tiana and Merida are really two of my favorites.
I love the movie. What's it called? Brave, right? Yes, Brave. Yeah. I haven't seen The Princess and the Frog, so I am behind with my Disney movies. But yeah, I think it's a spoonful of sugar. Everest, the refurb starts January 4th. Oh, so that's the reason why it's closed, because they're like,
hopefully they're going to work on that Yeti animation.
Right. Because Matt is giving us another tip. The bathrooms in Tomorrowland are always open.
True.
So now we know Matt doesn't have to go to the trees like many other gentlemen. He actually uses the proper bathrooms. I love Colors of the Wind. Colors of the Wind is from...
That's a good one.
Pocahontas, right? Yeah. See, I know the song. I haven't watched Colors of the Wind. Make sure to stop at the Grand Floridian huge gingerbread house. Will it be still up?
Yes, Disney goes all out in decorating for Christmas, and they keep it up through the first part of January so that people can still see it in case they're taking a late Christmas vacation. So they'll still have all the Christmas stuff up at all the resorts. So
nice.
It's very,
that is
very
so
cool.
It's awesome. It's actually interesting. In Spain, our Christmas lasts till January 7th or 8th.
It's because we go till Epiphany.
Because we go till the Epiphany, yes. So in Spain, you always say Happy Holidays unless you're the day off. If you're on Christmas, you say Happy Christmas. But any other day during the holiday season, you say Happy Holidays, because we celebrate Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, the day before the Epiphany, and then the Epiphany. So we have 6 national holidays actually in like 3 weeks.
That's a lot of holidays.
It is a lot, yeah. But it's a lot of fun too. So cool. So how many days are you staying overall?
We plan on being my husband's got to be back at work by Tuesday, and of course my kids need to be back in school. So so probably we're going to be leaving right after the marathon, just so we have enough time to travel.
Yeah, I'm staying. So I have 2 park days, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday, I'm at Epcot. So if you guys, if anyone watching this sees me, please say hello. And then Sunday, we are at the Hollywood Studios. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because you got to go to Galaxy's Edge.
I was just there, but I'm a sucker for Star Wars.
That
So.
that's where my brother works, and he loves it.
Which is he? Is he a ride operator, or is he like?
Yeah, he's one of the operators at Smuggler's Run.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Like,
Oh yeah.
I did it when I was there. When we were there in September, we did it. Well, I did it more times than my husband and my son, because they went to do the roller coaster, the Aerosmith roller
Mm-hmm.
coaster. I don't like roller coasters, so I didn't do that one. So while they were waiting in line to do that one, I went on the single rider, and I think I rode it 4 or 5 times.
Oh yeah.
By myself. So it was like, and another time, and I'm just running it and do it another time. It's like, yeah, so it's one of my favorite rides in the whole, on Disney property.
And it's cool. The last time I was there, he kind of took me on a tour, and he was pointing out like all the little tiny details that Disney put into Galaxy's Edge. I'm like, mind blown. They worked so hard on that.
Yeah, Matt just sent me a message, actually, a text, and he said that he can't stream right now. He's like in a bad spot with Wi-Fi, so he logged in, and then he can't stream anymore. So yeah, so I am arriving Friday and then leaving Monday morning. So it's gonna be a quick in and out. So
yeah, same here.
Yeah, it is what it is. One day I'll do the dopey.
Bye, Beverly.
Bye, Beverly. She's going for a run. How many miles are you going to run, Beverly, if she's still around? She might have locked off already. So how many miles are you going to run each week? Like, because we have 5 weeks left.
Right. I believe, looking at my little planner here,
I don't have my planner on me. I was planning as I was on asking you this question. I should have known the answer to my. Yeah.
Let's see. So looking at probably 10 miles next week, probably up to 15, and then either 18 or 20, and then I'm going to taper down.
Nice. I think I have, let me think about this. I think I have 16 or 17 tomorrow, and then 20. I'm going to go up. I think I'm going up to 23. I should know this. Yeah. So yeah, this is a completely different plan. It's very, it's very different from Hanson's, because in Hanson's my longest was 16 miles.
Yeah.
So this one is different. I think in a way, I feel like you never know if you're how hard mile 17, mile 18 are going to hit you till you actually do a run that's that long. So
yeah.
I don't know that running 16 miles really ever prepare you to run a marathon, in my opinion.
I used to be, ever since, that first marathon that I tried and I just crashed at 20 miles. After that point, just mentally, I was scared to go past 20 miles. And so that's why during this last training period that I did, when I did like a 22 and a 24, I was like, okay, so mentally I got past that barrier. I should be able to finish. And then I get to the marathon, and at mile 10, I'm like, I don't want to run anymore.
We always go through that. Yeah. When I run New York City, I remember watching at the 10-mile marker and thinking, oh, wow, we're in mile 10. Easy peasy. I can do this. But then, it hits you what you least expected, which for me, it really was at mile 18. I was like, I don't want to do this. And at mile 24, I was this close to just like saying, I don't need a medal in my life. I don't need another one. I mean, I was like this close. Like my husband saw me slowing on the map, and he actually texted me, think about the medal. And then like 3 or 4 minutes after that, he said, think about petting Annie. And that's when I was like, I would have fed my dog. I just rather get home.
I was following you on the app going, oh no, she's slowing down.
Oh, I slowed down so much. Like that is when I bet you the photographers were there, because I walked there. I probably walked like 200 feet. Like I really was trying to like, okay, I need to finish this time, but so you're like negotiating with yourself.
Yeah.
So that's
after a while you go, okay, if you can just get to that corner, you'll be cool. Okay, get to that corner. Okay, if you can get to the next corner, that would be great. So,
Yeah. Okay. So Lori's saying, I'm interested in what you think after it's over of doing the 23-mile training run. So when I did
yeah.
when I trained for Philadelphia, I did a 20, I think I did a 24.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I know that I can do 2 miles more.
Yeah.
That was my, like
That was my thinking too. Yeah.
yeah, it was like, okay, I can do 24, 26.2 is only 2.2 more. So I know I can
Mm-hmm.
do it. So for Philadelphia, I was tired, but mentally I was in a much better place because I knew I could
Yeah.
do it. Like, okay, 3
Yeah.
weeks ago I did 24. So there's no reason why. Like
Yeah.
I should be able to finish. There's that certainty there that you can do it.
Yeah.
So Tristan is aiming for 16.5 to 18 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
She's in Kansas, so Kansas
Lots
is
of
super
wind
windy.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I here it's windy as well. When it's windy, it's really windy, which makes it very dangerous because we have a lot of trees. So then you
Mm-hmm.
can't get out.
Right.
As soon as you have, if it reaches 20 miles per hour, per hour wind, you can't be outside because you could get hit by something. So yeah, so I haven't checked the weather for tomorrow, but I think I might have an 18 miler.
Hmm.
I don't know. It's good that I have it
That's a
all
long
written
run.
down. It's a long run. Yes, it's a long run. So if I can put like a 20 and then a 22, 24, I'm golden.
Mhm.
Then I know that I can. Yeah, I can
Yeah.
finish. Yeah. So are you gonna run walk, Heather?
Yes.
You are definitely.
That's
Are you gonna
yeah.
you do? So do you have in mind how do you
I'm
want
gonna
to do it?
That's kind of what I'm doing with my long runs for the next couple of weeks is figuring out what ratio I want to use. Like maybe a 2 and 2, maybe a 4 and 1. Let's see. I'm not really sure what's going to work. I know towards the end of the Little Rock Marathon, I was having to slow to a 2 and 2 because I really needed that 2 minutes to recover, and so I don't know. I'm gonna have to play around and see what's gonna work.
Right. In my experience using the run walk, I've always felt like towards the end, I could
Mm-hmm.
run. Like there was always a point when I reached that I was, well, always the two
Mm-hmm.
times that I've used it, I always felt like, okay, now I know that I can run all the way, even if it's
Mm-hmm.
slow. I can
Yeah.
continue just running. So, but if we can, because Tristan and I are running it together. So if we can't, we can't. I mean, as
Yeah.
long as we finish and we don't get caught by the balloon ladies,
Yeah.
we're good. We're
Which,
happy.
for anyone
So
watching who hasn't heard of the balloon ladies, there are women. They are not employed by Disney. They just do this on their own, but they keep a exact 16-minute per mile pace, and they hang back, and they are the last people to cross the starting line. And so if these women get in front of you, you are about to be cut. So you have to stay ahead of the balloon ladies. And there are times I've heard where people are in line for a porta potty and someone will yell, "The balloon ladies are coming," and they just scatter. So everybody's scared of the balloon ladies, but it's like if you see them, then you're in trouble of being swept from the course. So
right.
beware the balloon ladies.
Well, hopefully we can, stay ahead of them and also stop for pictures with the characters. So
Mhm.
that's, that's one of the goals,
Yeah,
to get pictures with the characters.
to just not get swept. That's my goal.
Finish, yeah, you get your medal and not get swept. So is there any, like, for example, New York City Marathon, if the following day after the marathon, if you wear your medal, people
Mhm.
usually tell you everywhere, like in restaurants and like the subway lets you in for free if you're wearing your medal. You don't need
Mhm.
to you just go through. Um, does Disney do people behave differently? Do they give you something? I don't know,
If
like the
uh,
cast members. I mean,
yeah,
like if you're walking through the
all the
to the
cast
park.
members, if they see you wearing a medal at any point that weekend, they will tell you congratulations, or they'll ask how your race went. So they make sure that you're recognized for wearing your medal. And then there are a few places around Disney property and in Orlando where it's like, if you wear your medal, then you get like 15% off your purchase or whatever. So
That's pretty cool.
So it's a cool deal.
Nice. Well, I don't know if we have any more questions, comments. Anybody has any questions, especially for Heather, because she's our expert, a resident expert. Yeah, I'm so I still can't believe I am running this.
Oh, I know.
In my mind, it's like I can't even believe it yet. Yeah. I'm super excited, and I'm too excited for my own good.
Oh yeah.
It's gonna be hard to sleep as I get closer, and I'm just
I always have trouble sleeping before a Disney race.
I get very I try to stay calm, but I get very passionate about the things that I really like, and running is something I really like. So when I have a race that I'm really excited to run, it's very hard for me to really keep my feelings, in a normal, my husband always says, it's like you're about to burst, you're about to explode.
And plus you have to be there so early in the morning. It's like, it seems hardly worth it to sleep sometimes, because you just have to be up so early to get there.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be awesome. Yeah. I can't wait. And at the same time, it's like, no, I would love to have another 2 or 3 more weeks to really be prepared. And
it's like, I'm excited, but I am not looking forward to how much I'm going to be hurting that day.
The more you move though, you move if you go to the parks afterwards, then you walk but then, if you're going to get in a car, you're going to be, you have to make sure that you're going to, when you stop at the rest stops, or you could, go to the bathroom, that you walk around a little bit. Yeah. When I ran my Inco Marathon, we drove straight from the finish line because we were afraid of the traffic getting out of DC.
Right.
There's always a lot of traffic in DC anyway, but I ate what they gave me, which they gave us a lot of stuff at the finish line. And then we just hopped in the car and we drove, and there was a ton of traffic. So we didn't make it home till 4 hours and a half later. And I remember we stopped to get dinner because it was getting late. So we stopped to get dinner, and the restaurant where we stopped had 3 steps up and I could barely go up. Because I had been in the car for 3.5 hours. So when I got out, I was I had the shape of the seat. And then I was trying to go up, and it was people are going to think, that was 3 hours and a half from Washington, D.C. So I was so self-conscious because I thought everybody's going to think I'm dying or something. Because I'm this young woman, younger,
she's too young to be walking around like that.
Oh my God. And then I ordered 2 plates, and I remember distinctly the waitress putting that in front of me and saying, "Are you going to eat it all?"
I am.
And my husband said, "She just ran a marathon." So I suspect the answer is yes. Because I was hungry. So yeah.
And I'm going to wear that medal in the car.
I wore it to the restaurant. She just didn't see it because of how she was serving the food. She just didn't see it. But yeah. Thank you, Lori. She's saying y'all are going to do amazing. Have a magical time.
And also, nice. Usually Jeff Galloway is at the expo. I don't know if he's planning on being there this time, but if he is, make a point to stop and see him. He is just genuinely as friendly as you think he is. He is the sweetest guy to talk to. So
that's actually, I have to Google that. And if he's around, I have 2 books that he wrote. So I would love to get, I'll bring one and have it signed. Maybe he would do it.
Mm-hmm. I had him sign my bib last time.
Oh, that's a great idea. That's even better because the bibs, they, you can keep the bibs. I have all of mine. So yeah, very cool. Well, guys, we're almost coming here on the top of the hour. And if you guys don't have any questions, we're going to give Heather her day back. And I have a Christmas parade to go to. So
I have one tonight. So.
Oh, you have one tonight. Yeah, I have one in an hour. So
Yeah, we do ours at night because our town all through the Christmas season does this whole celebration of Christmas lights. And after the Christmas parade is when they do this big ceremony to light up the downtown area with all the lights. So that's why we do ours in the evening.
That's a good question. I think our trees is already lit up. I haven't walked through or driven by the downtown area in my little town, so I don't know. But the idea is that like all the shops on Main Street, they want this now because then people just kind of hang out and then they have dinner in the restaurants, and so they come
Ah,
for the parade, they park, watch the parade, and then they just have dinner and
yeah, I think they're
you
having a
know,
craft fair this afternoon and then the parade tonight.
nice.
Yeah.
I like them at night because with the lights, it's just like a lot
Oh,
more.
yeah.
Yeah, they're exciting. Very cool. Well, thank you for joining us, Heather.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
thanks for being here, and thanks to everyone who joined. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Bye bye.
Bye.